When you pass your electrical program and you spend several years working as an electrical apprentice, it's time to write your electrical exam to become a journeyman. Many people are avoiding this exam because they think it is too difficult, because they think it is impossible to prepare. But in reality, these exams are very structured, the type of questions are very useful, and you will have many advantages after writing this exam. So I wish you a big luck. Let's talk about the categories of questions that you can be asked during the exam. First type of question, it's the practical questions. They come from your hand experience. For example, when you need to replace a transformer, what kind of tools will you be using? If you want to install the pipe, what electrical equipment you will be needed? So this type of question, you just need to remember what kind of installation have you done, and use this knowledge. So try to remember your previous experience in order to answer these questions. Another type of questions, these are the questions related to safety. What kind of personal protection equipment you will be using, for example, in case of working on the live wire? What is the distance between the wall and the ladder when you install it and lean it against the wall? So these type of questions, they are related to safety, and I think it's also necessary to revise them and always use the safety rules in order to work in a safe environment. Third type of questions, I would say it is the electrical theory. You need to know what are the electrical units, when do we use them, what do we measure, what kind of parameters we use in the electricity, in the electrical trade. So you can be asked question about Ohm's law, about Faraday's law, the connection of circuits in series and in parallel. So you need to revise all your base electrical theory that is universal among all the countries, and that is the base of working as an electrician. So you should know what is the power factor, how do we calculate resistances, how do we calculate the capacitance of certain component. The third type of questions are questions related to electrical theory. The fourth type of questions are questions related to electrical code. So it's lookup questions. They are called like that. You don't need to memorize them, and you will not be using many of them during your work, during your professional experience, because usually we are specialized on the certain equipment. For example, there is a section of the code that is related to the airports, and most of the electricians, they will be never be working in the airports. But these type of questions, they make sure that you are able to navigate in the electrical code, and you are able to find the necessary information. So the code is divided in articles, articles divided in paragraphs, and paragraphs can be divided in sub-paragraphs. Always look for the exceptions, always look for the notes, because the electrical code, it's not a manual for electricians. It's a juridical document, and it has all these complications for reading, but in this type of questions, they want to make sure that you are able to navigate the code. So know your layout of the code. Where are the main tables? What are the main articles of the codes? What are the supplementary articles of the codes? Where do you find in the definitions? So you need to know your code book. And the last type of questions, these are the calculation questions. So let's talk about them. And also, people are very lost. How do I do all these calculations? It's impossible to memorize all of this. But in fact, all the answers are already in the code book. But you need to know the calculation questions. For example, try to imagine that you enter the room and you see some electrical equipment. So how will you, as an electrician, fit this equipment? What you will be needed? So let's go from the beginning. So we enter the room, we look up the electrical equipment. What do? We look up at the plate of the equipment. So on the plate we have the information, how many amperes this electrical equipment consume, what is the nominal voltage of the equipment, what is the frequency, how many phases does it need, how many wires it requires, if we need to connect neutral or not. So we collect all this information, and now we need to planify our installation. How are we gonna do that? So first of all, we need to know in what environment are we working on. If the temperature is too high or too low, because it's going to influence the capacity, the ampacity of our cable. So in order to supply this equipment with the electricity, we need to run the wire. So, but what kind of wire are we gonna use? We are gonna use classification according to AWG, and we need to choose a proper wire. So the diameter of the cable is gonna depend on the current that we need to supply. And once we got this current, we divide it by 80%. We use a 80% rule, and then we know the current that must be passed through our cable. So we go to the certain table and we choose the nominal size of our wire. But we might have different temperatures for the terminals, for the wire, for the environment. So we are going to consider all these parameters, and we are going to choose a proper wire. After that, we need to choose the protection equipment. Is it going to be a fuse? Is it going to be a circuit breaker? It doesn't really matter as long as we use the wire as long as we choose the breaker according to our load. So once we have chosen that, we need to planify how are we gonna run the wire. We are gonna need to planify what kind of cable we are gonna use. Is it gonna be Romex? Is it gonna be BX? So let's say we are gonna run the wire in the pipe. So what type of pipe are we gonna use? We need to make sure that the current that is passes through the wire, that it's not gonna melt the cable, that it's gonna dissipate the heat around the cable, and the circuit is not gonna overheat. So we need to make sure that for that we need to make sure we have air circulation, that the wire is separated from the walls of the pipe by a certain distance. So for that we use another table. It will tell us how many wires can we pull in a certain diameter of the cable. But let's say we need a different type of wires. We don't use just 212s, or we don't just use 514s. So in this case we use the same logic. We need to use the 40% capacity rule. It means that the we can occupy only 40% of the pipe diameter if we have three or more cables. After that, what we're gonna do, we choose the wire, we choose the protection equipment, we choose the pipe, we have chosen the diameter of the pipe. So now what? Let's imagine we need to stop at the box to make the connection. But in the box, what size of box do we need to use? Because the principle is the same. The heat should be dissipated in the environment so that the cable is not gonna overheat. So for that we need to select electrical box, a junction box, according to our to the number of cables and to the number of pipes that enters this box. So we are going to use a certain rule to find the sizes of the box. Now let's imagine we have chosen 6x6, we connected another pipe, and we go down to the equipment, and then we got to the switch. In the switch, the same logic applies. We need to consider the number of marets that we are using inside the box. For example, 11, 10. How many wires come and how many wires go out from the box, how many wire nuts we have inside. So we choose all these parameters so that we find the proper size of the box, so that again our cable is not gonna overheat. Okay, that's perfect. We finally connected our equipment. We are gonna use a little bit different factors for heating equipment, for electrical motor equipment, for lighting equipment, but the logic stays the same. We need to choose the protection, we need to choose the proper cable, and we need to make sure that the circuit is not gonna overheat and burn our house. Okay, we connected just just one equipment, but what do we do for the whole house? For the whole house we have a different method for the calculation. First we need to consider what kind of equipment is inside the house and what is the floor area of the house, and the same logic applies to the commercial spaces. So we take the floor area, and we logically think that the bigger the area is, the more power is going to be needed. So we use certain formulas to calculate the common load, and then we consider what else we have beside common load. Do we have a spa? Do we have an electrical vehicle charger? Do we have a pool inside the house? So we take into consideration all these parameters to determine the total wattage of the house, and after that we will be able to choose again. We will choose the ampacity of the cable needed for the feeders, and then we will choose the protection equipment for these feeders. So the load is different. Right now it is the whole house, not just one piece of equipment, but the logic is the same. We need to make sure that we choose a proper ampacity, and we need to make sure that the cable is going to be protected against the short circuits and overload. So now we understand the logic, how to choose the cable protection for all kind of equipment. But let's say now we have not just one house but the apartment building. In the apartment building the same logic applies, but we don't to just summarize all the apartment blocks, because in this case the total consumption will be too big. So we can assume that not all the units are gonna use the load in the same way. So in one apartment when somebody is sleeping, in another apartment somebody is gonna to cook, and this person is gonna consume a lot of electrical load. So in order to balance this, we will use certain coefficients for each unit. And also we are going to consider the common load in the apartment building, and in this way we will be able to choose the main feeder from the electrical provider to our building. So here is the total logic of the preparation for the electrical exam. The electrical exam is very interesting. You will be asked all kind of questions. You need to prepare very well. Right now there are many different resources where you can find test questions, but in my opinion, if you want to be real professional, you need to be able to navigate the code. You need to be work in a safe way, and you need to know the calculation rules, and you need to use all these kind of questions and challenges. So it's a good way to test your knowledge and to determine if you are ready to be a real journeyman electrician. I wish you good luck for your exam. Prepare well, be confident, and everything is gonna be good. All the exam is gonna work out for you well if you know all these topics that I have mentioned.